Greetings, Eastern Baptist Association family. My name is Craig Scott Brown Sr. I am the pastor of the Bethany Baptist Church of Jamaica and an on-site chaplain supervisor at St. John Episcopal Hospital in Far Rockaway. It is my proud pleasure to join with moderator and Eastern Baptist Association in saluting and paying tribute to every healthcare worker. Prior to the emergence of this invisible monster we call COVID-19, the importance and enormity of the job healthcare workers performed was often taken for granted. However, over the past 10 months, the 21 plus million people who have tested positive for COVID-19 and 361,000 who have died demand we change our lens and see more clearly how indispensable and essential they really are. In this ongoing season of COVID-19 pandemic, there is no group of people more deserving of honor than those working in the healthcare field. Since March of last year, every individual working in the healthcare system has been pushed to levels of exhaustion never before experienced. We had a brief period when it seemed things were normalizing. However, things are again spiking, and the demand on us are increasing daily. While there is hope in the vaccine, this fight continues, and daily we confront exhaustion. Exhaustion from long hours and staff shortages. Exhaustion from both physical and mental depletion. Exhaustion from a lack of self-care. Exhaustion from patient care with a whole new set of demands. Exhaustion from the reality that at times our best is just not good enough. Exhaustion from death. I have had the honor of working at the St. John Hospital and witnessed firsthand why healthcare workers deserve special recognition on this Martin Luther King Jr. holiday observance. Healthcare workers are selfless. I have witnessed far too much to chronicle in this tribute, but I can attest to the selfless nature and attitude demonstrated in the various disciplines when the health of the healthcare structure. Patients are met with care and compassion in the most difficult of circumstances. Consider, in this pandemic, we often deal with patients before their COVID-19 status is known, yet they are handled lovingly and with kindness. Further, even after a patient tests positive for the virus, the same level of care and compassion is provided. This care is given even when caregivers are going home to their families and loved ones after long shifts. They are empathetic. It takes a special person to put themselves in the place of the patients they're caring for, especially when the patient exhibits resistance to the effort to provide the care necessary to avoid the death in the room. Often, the resistance is the result of isolation and the fear produced by the unknown. Healthcare workers embrace and comfort patients in these circumstances in order to ensure patients get the best treatment, the treatment they would want for themselves or loved ones. Healthcare workers are very much aware of the risk they are taking and understand it could be them laying in the same bed. They understand the fear, the hopelessness, and the helplessness. They are resilient. We're called upon to work long hours, day in and day out. What we witness and encounter in the various units we work in presents us with countless challenges. Each facility is different, but what has become increasingly common to all healthcare workers is having to deal with the mounting stress associated with an overwhelming sense of helplessness. When you've done everything possible to care for a patient, and yet their condition worsens and eventuates in death, it becomes exacerbating. Still, we must get up the next day and find a sense of hope and purpose and do it all over again. They are fearless and courageous. In preparation to care for patients, healthcare workers are required to put on the necessary PPE. In most cases, This requires putting on a double mask, gowns, and eye shields. Depending upon the status of the patient, other protective items are required. Close attention must be paid to whatever signage a facility employs to identify the status of patients. Yet, we know that we are needed, and along with the required PPE, put on a non-anxious presence and go into the valley of the shadow of death, trusting we're making a difference. It is one thing to go into a room unaware of what's lurking inside. It is quite another to enter the same room completely aware you are putting yourself in harm's way. Thank you, Moderator Pickett and Eastern, for taking the time to honor healthcare workers. I ask on behalf of every healthcare worker that you daily keep us lifted in prayer. We continue in this pandemic season, hopeful the storm is passing over, and trusting God that there will be glory after this.
I will sing your praise, for you've done such a marvelous thing. For someone so wretched, yet my soul you have redeemed. No one else could do it. No one could care half as much. Yet you thought my soul was worth it. So you gave your only son. You gave that I might live. You gave that I might be set free. Shine your light on mine. What a marvelous thing you've done. Some folks see my faults. Lord, you see my accomplishments. Even the good work you have begun in me. You also see my finish. No, not half done. Every battle already won. to me. It's marvelous. It was so marvelous. Marvelous. When you delivered me. Marvelous. It was marvelous. So marvelous. And then you changed me, Lord. It's marvelous. You rearranged me. Marvelous. You set me free. Set me free. Free from sin, Lord.